Mothers fear the first cry of their sons because by morning, both mother and child may be gone. Would you survive a night here? Let's break it down this way. When a community learns to live with fear, it becomes part of their daily life, and soon no one questions it. What people tolerate in silence can destroy them in darkness. Okuruji was a village that seemed alive at night in ways no traveller wanted to see. The mud walls of the huts were cracked and blackened, and the thatched roofs sagged under the weight of years and secrets. Every path twisted like a serpent, leading nowhere and everywhere at once, and the trees leaned over the roads as if whispering warnings. At dusk, the wind carried faint sounds, a creaking, a soft scratching, a cry that seemed almost human, but not quite. The river that ran past the village gleamed silver under the moon, but the water smelled strange, like wet earth, mixed with something older and sorrowful. The market was empty after sundown. Baskets of yams and peppers sat rotting, abandoned by hands too afraid to linger. Lanterns burned dimly in some homes, flickering shadows across walls, throwing the faces of women and girls into grotesque shapes. Smoke from cooking fires curled into the sky like grey snakes, carrying the scent of bitter herbs meant to protect children, herbs that sometimes felt powerless against what came after nightfall. Even during the day, the village felt tense, as if every step might awaken a hidden terror. Women moved with hunched shoulders, eyes flicking over shoulders, hands clutching their daughters' waists or bellies. Girls whispered as they walked past, afraid to speak too loudly, as if the walls themselves might hear and carry their words into the dark. The huts seemed to lean closer at night, and the wind howled through gaps like the voices of the lost. Every shadow became a threat. Every sound could be the first cry of a child that would not live until dawn. Okuruji was alive with fear, and it was a fear that grew heavier with each passing night. Now it was the turn of a young couple, Mama Amara and Papa Amara, a young mother of a newborn boy named Emeka. Both parents' heart pound as the sun disappeared behind the hills. She sensed the first tremor of the baby's cry. She leapt from her mat, clutching him close, and ran to her husband, Papa Amara. "Is Emeka ooh?" The husband said. "What happened to Emeka?" the father asked. And she replied, "He's starting to cry again. Please, what do we do? The cry is coming gradually. How do we stop him?" And the husband said to his wife, "Stay calm. Okay, let's check him. Maybe something is biting him." They hurriedly changed his napkins, checked every fold of skin. Emeka's little hands flailed, but the crying only grew sharper. Mama Emeka said to her husband, "No, it's not the napkins. It's not him being hurt. What is it? What is it then?" They both asked themselves in pain. They carried him to the small wooden basin and bathed him, wrapping him in clean cloth. They fed him, spoonful by spoonful, sang soft children's songs, danced carefully in the room, and rocked him. They gave him medicine to sleep. Nothing worked, and they both fell to their feet in pain. Both parents sank to the floor, clutching Emeka to their chest, tears streaking on the mother's face. Her voice trembled as she whispered to herself, "No, no, not my son, not my life. What is the world if I cannot keep you? Who will save me? Who will save us? Am I even alive if he dies? What will become of me, of us, if the night takes him again?" Papa Emeka held them both, shaking, feeling helpless. "Mama Emeka, I cannot protect him. I cannot protect you. What curse, what madness is this? What pain is this? What wickedness is this? And who is doing this to us? Who have we offended? And what is the solution to this? The father cried. The crying continued, piercing the night. The sun was still hours away. Their fear, pain, and desperation filled the room like a living thing. By dawn, Mama Emeka collapsed. Emeka was gone. Mothers whispered behind closed doors. Male children always died. Female children survived. Mothers gathered secretly in shadowed corners. I cannot bear another boy. If it comes, I must hide it. I must stop it before it kills me too. Mama Ada says, "What do you mean?" Yes. I cannot tell anyone. One cry, one night, and we are gone. The cries grew louder. Mothers ran from hut to hut, tying charms around children's necks, sprinkling bitter leaves, whispering prayers, rocking babies, feeding them, singing, dancing, giving medicine, all in vain. Graves piled nightly. Eyes reddened from sleepless nights. The night grew darker, cries cutting sharper. If you think you can watch this unfold, subscribe, ring the bell, and like this video before you see what happens next. Women began considering desperate acts, hiding pregnancies, quietly aborting male babies, whispering charms, hoping to outwit death itself. And even some women left their husband because they were too afraid to get pregnant. And men also asked themselves in pain and in fear, what can we do to save our lineage? Everyone in the village of Okuruji gathered and started complaining. We prayed, gave offerings, ran rituals, and still they die. Our sons die, our names die. Can we even live through this? Our lineage also dies. On one fearful day, Mama Ifunanya gave birth, and it was a boy. Then she began to cry and say to herself, male children are supposed to be seen as blessing, but ours is a cause. No one knew who caused it. Oh my world, what can I do to save myself and my son from this pain? She complained bitterly. Night after night, Mama Ifunanya's hut became a theater of fear. She whispered to herself, Ifunanya, what will become of us? If my son cries tonight, if I cannot save him, I cannot also save myself. Who will save me? Who will take care of us? The cries grow louder, echoing in your own ears as you watch. If you think you can endure it, subscribe, ring the bell, and like this video, or you might miss what comes next. By the seventh night, Mama Ifunanya tried a new ritual. Cola, bitter herbs, charms, whispered secrets. For a while, the boy was quiet, but just before dawn, his cry split the darkness. She fell to her knees, sobbing. No, please. Not him. Not again. Please don't take him, our ancestors. Please save us. The world is full of wickedness. I'm paying for what I didn't buy. Who will save me? Who will save us? My son, please don't cry. If you cry, we will both die and leave this world. If you cry, this is our end. If you cry, we are gone. If you cry out, life will be taken. And she continued to cry. She gave him an amulet to wear on his wrist and waist. She also gave him food and breastfeeds him. She gave him herbs to drink, but not avail. And he died in the morning. And immediately the mother also gave up the ghost. So now the first question comes to you. What if you found yourself in Okuruji? What if things happen just this way? What do you think should be the cause? And who caused it? And why are they paying for what they didn't buy? The night is thick. The cries louder than ever. Brace yourself. Subscribe, ring the bell, and like this video if you dare see how the story ends. Tell me, What sin could make a mother's womb a grave before the child even breathed? How do you comfort a mother who knows her baby's cry is the sound of death? If love could save, why do the ones we love the most suffer the most? What do you do when your faith no longer answers your fears? How many tears can heaven ignore before it remembers mercy? What kind of night makes even prayer afraid to speak? When did motherhood become a punishment instead of a blessing? If the gods are silent, who do we beg for help? As the last cry echoed through Okuruji that night, the villagers gathered under the dying moonlight, faces wet with sweat, hearts heavy with the same question that no elder could answer. Mothers clutched their babies tighter, whispering broken prayers. No one slept. No one dared to close their eyes, because in Okuruji, the sound of a child crying at night was not ordinary. It was a countdown. The next morning, the wails of mourning replaced the songs of birds. Another child gone. Another mother silent forever. And again, the whispers began. What did we do wrong? Whose curse still walks among us? Who will end this darkness? Graves grew. Mothers died with sons. The village hollowed, a shadowed reminder of fear, silence, and despair. They burned herbs, poured libations, tied charms, and prayed to gods. Yet the cries continued, and the graves multiplied. And slowly, hope became a stranger in Okuruji. Wives feared the womb that once made them proud. Girls refused marriage proposals, terrified to become mothers of doomed sons. Even the wind carried sorrow, whispering the names of the dead. Now, when the moon rises and the night grows still, the villagers say they still hear the babies cry from empty cradles. But what if the cries were not from the babies? What if they were echoes of the mother's pain, trapped between life and death? What if the curse was never from the gods, but from a forgotten sin of man? The scariest monsters are not ghosts. They're the truths people refuse to speak. Every unspoken secret gives evil a place to hide. What if the village had buried an innocent soul long ago, and every child's cry was justice calling from the earth? What if the solution was never in the herbs or prayers, but in facing the truth everyone feared to speak? What if the curse is not in the children, but in the parents? Why do the children cry when night falls? Still, we don't know why. You can carry a lantern in your hand and still walk in darkness, because safety isn't in the light, it's in the courage to see what's really there. What if every act of love, every ritual, every sleepless night is only a fragile shadow of safety? What if you found yourself in this position of life? What will you do? What if hiding the truth makes the curse stronger, teaching the bitter cost of silence and fear? Why do the gods watch in silence when the innocent cry? Do their hearts no longer hear the sound of pain? When darkness swallows the righteous, do the gods sleep? Or do they simply turn their faces away? Now here is the truth. Sometimes the gods are not silent, we just don't like the answers they've already given. What if the world has already chosen who lives and who dies, and nothing you do changes it? If you love this story, you can watch my other video titled, "Would you dare bathe at night after hearing this? Only the brave survive to tell the tale."